What's up, YouTube? Welcome back. So, I want to talk about the trailers, two of them so far. The trailers for OWN, Oprah, Oprah Winfrey Network, Black Love, Season 4. Alright, so before I kind of really get into it, I just want to give a bit of a backstory on how I found out about this. Alright, so I first heard about this situation with, the Black Love Season 4 trailers, and particularly, when it comes to like colorism and representation of couples and individuals and, things like that, right? Pretty much representation and colorism, right? So I first heard about this situation. I was listening to the Ricky Smiley show on the radio. Don't judge me. And they wind up bringing up this topic about some people complaining about what they perceived as colorism being present in the trailer. And this particular trailer, I think they were referring to, because so far there are two, but this perhaps was the teaser trailer, which was about a little less than a minute, right? And Ricky Smiley, the Brat, and Eva were complaining about people complaining about the colorism in, or what they perceived as colorism. Very dismissive and unsympathetic, and sadly very typical, right? It wasn't really any type of like, well, maybe, let's try to think about this and see where folks were coming from with it. It was more so just being very dismissive, like, oh, we come in so many different shades and colors and varieties. Oh my, yes, yes. And Oprah Winfrey employs many black people, many different shades and colors and textures and everything. She sure does. Look at the shows on her network. You see many a shade and color and texture and variations all over that stuff. And then Ricky, he was like, I don't agree with Oprah on everything, but I tell you, this ain't colorism. He said something to that effect. I don't quite remember it though. But that was pretty much the attitude about it though, right? Yet these same folks, Ricky Smiley and his crew, want to talk about how Black Lives Matter though. Right? I mean, coming for talking about Black Lives Matter, and we got to get out there and vote to get rid of racism out of the White House, or get rid of racist Donald Trump, right? We got to fight back against the racism, right? We got to call out and fight back against police brutality, right? And I'm not saying that all those things aren't valid and true and that need to be done, and etc., because those are definitely things that we should be fighting for as a group of people. But I do find it a bit interesting that when it comes to the internal issues that we have, then folks, all of a sudden, that same attitude and that same concern and same vigor is just MIA, nowhere to be found. Right? So, when we as black people say Black Lives Matter, are we really truly concerned about black lives as a whole, or just certain people's black lives? Black men lives matter. You can't go around shooting down Tyrone like that. I don't care if he was robbing a 7-Eleven while having a gun pointed to a young black woman with her child. I don't care. That black king deserves justice. Right? I'm pretty sure there's some black people, especially black women, who coming through with that. But that's another story. That's another story. But one more thing I want to talk about before I get into the trailer and the colorism and representation and all that stuff. Sometime this past week, Ricky Smiley said Something to the effect of he's afraid to walk in his own neighborhood because he is, you know, afraid of being racially profiled, especially in the Trump era, right? And like I did a whole video about a guy in a similar situation, right? Except for that guy was a swirler. Ricky Smiley, as far as I know, isn't a swirler, but nevertheless, I'm just like, why would you, live, cohabitate, habitate, whatever, dwell in a neighborhood that would racially profile you just for walking while black? Like, why would you, subject yourself and possibly your kids to something like that? I don't know. I don't get it. And like Ricky Smiley, he has options. Like Ricky Smiley got money. All right. So I know he got a lot of options when it comes to where he can live. I'm just saying. All right. But I just found that to be really interesting. All right. But yeah, I did a whole video about a guy in a similar situation like that named Shola Richards. And yeah, it was pretty much more or less the same situation. And I did a whole video about that. Just like, seriously? All right. But let's get into this Black Love Season 4 trailer. All right. So, some people, namely darker skinned black women, let's be real, complain about colorism or what was perceived as colorism in the Black Love Season 4 trailer. More so the teaser trailer, which is about a little less than a minute. More so, right? And they complained about the lack of dark-skinned women and the lack of dark-skinned couples. Where the couple, or both people in the relationship are dark-skinned. And, for the dark-skinned black women out there, if you want dark-skinned couples representation, then I strongly suggest you have a talk with dark-skinned black men. And both groups, both dark-skinned black women and dark-skinned black men, confront on the Oprah Winfrey Network about it. If dark-skinned men are not on board with it, then I suggest you just concentrate on dark-skinned female promotion and representation. All right. I really don't think you should be turning this into some sort of like, I gotta save the black love race. The black community needs me. I gotta save us. Black love is the only love. And I'm like, okay, but be careful about that turning into an obsession, right? That's not healthy. All right. So I'm going to show the teaser trailer, right? First, all right, I'm going to show the teaser trailer, and then, after that, I will show the full trailer, which is a little over 2 minutes, right? The teaser trailer is a little under 1 minute. The full trailer is a little above 2 minutes. So, here we go.
From the moment that we kissed, it was over. I would have said yes that day.
You listen to a song and you know you like it in the first bar. That's what I felt like.
I just said, I'm gonna go for it. It's love.
The minute we got married, things changed astronomically.
Not at all how I thought that this whole thing would go.
My phone would like make this weird sound. I'm like, they're listening to us.
I'm so on the edge and so paranoid that we're hanging on thin ice at that point.
He had been dealing with depression for a long time, and he did not know it.
It took me years to actually explain to her. I was like, I don't want to talk about it.
There's a way to communicate and to talk to each other, because sometimes you can't go back.
She was my wife the day I met her.
I think that's part of being married. You have to see it as a we. It doesn't matter who came in with what, you kind of have to see it as a we.
If I died tomorrow, I would live my best life because of you.
So, Here we go.
So mind you, that's 5 months after we started dating that he had a ring on layaway. Did you know you were going to propose on Christmas Eve?
I knew I was going to propose when I got it off layaway.
Like, you know, you lose a dog or a kitten, and you looking around like she's looking a little lost, and then when she see me, she looked so happy.
We were hanging out a lot, and we went to church.
I just knew she was the one for me. I knew it.
After church, we went to brunch.
I didn't feel like I had to do anything other than just be myself.
And then after brunch, we went to the movies. This is all right with me. Then after Mad Max, we went to dinner, and I was like, I have spent legit all day with this dude.
If I'm gonna live with somebody, this is gonna be it.
You don't have to question it. I never questioned my choice.
All my friends were like, what the hell is wrong with you? Why are you tattooing his name on your ass when you're not with him?
I hear the boom, and they're like, Alicia, can you come to the front, please? And I'm like, what the hell did he do? The flight attendant, like, takes the intercom, and I'm starting to realize, oh, this is happening right now on the plane.
I was on cloud 9, like, as soon as I said I do, and the trepidation was, like, when is this going to wear off?
She had these things in her mind that she wanted me to do, and I just was like, I'm sorry, I mean, I don't know how to do those things.
Police raided our house. They just shut us down.
They wouldn't let me change
They wouldn't let her change the baby's diapers,
like, it
none of
was
that.
so traumatic.
But from that, it was depression.
I just feel like I should jump off the balcony. And the only reason that I'm not going to jump is because I know I won't die because I'm only 2 floors up.
Everything was fine, and then it changed.
You need to be strong enough to open up and be able to collapse and cry onto someone and let them help you feel better.
You just have to be there with somebody to go through it.
Not just loving him the way I want to love him. I have to learn how to love him the way he receives love.
Being able to be transparent and very vulnerable in front of her and tell her that I'm not having a good day. She had to be able to say, it's okay to feel that way.
I'm so privileged to experience love this rich.
You are the most important thing to me in my life.
You are my life.
As long as I got you, I can do anything.
I will marry you all over again.
You may kiss your bride.
Life's gonna be crazy anyway. I wanna do it with you. Stay love.
Alrighty, y'all. So y'all have seen both trailers. The teaser trailer, which was so teasing y'all. It was teasing, right? Just like light, bright, damn near white, right? For the women, right? It seemed like the guys, I don't know, there was a bit more, I guess, diversity when it came to the men in the teaser trailer versus, say, the women, right? More so, it was like, you know, biracial, light-skinned, safe brown women. While with the black men, it was like, well, okay, brown-skinned men, you know, perhaps, you know, medium tone or like in-between type dudes and maybe like a light-skinned dude here or there, right? But yeah, I did notice that there wasn't really a strong presence or even a presence of like, you know, women darker than the paper bag, right? When it came to the teaser trailer, right? When it came to the full trailer, I will say that there was more representation. But, you know, I noticed in the full trailer, I do see 2, you know, unequivocally dark-skinned black men. And I'm not sure if I truly see their female equivalents being represented at all. There was like the darkest woman that I saw in the video was probably like a nice brown color, right? And, you know, oddly enough, she was paired with probably like the lightest dude in, you know, involved in the program, oddly enough. So I guess there is like, because I know there was like there was a woman who was like biracial looking, you know, curly hair, really light skin, and she was paired with like a dark skinned dude. So I know, okay, I see that they did, I guess, somewhat add some like quote unquote balance, you know. I didn't see a, dark-skinned couple. I will say that. I think I barely saw like dark-skinned women, like dark skin, like the same color as the two dark skinned dudes that are there. I don't think I really saw that. I saw something perhaps that's close and that can maybe pass, right? The black woman who was with like the really light skinned, possibly biracial white passing dude, right? Perhaps. I will say, I would like to see more representation of, darker skinned black women, in these relationships and marriages. I think they're concentrated on like marriages particularly. But yeah, I would like to see, more representation. And then I know some people are going to come through. Some people, I've even seen this posted here or there. It's like, oh, well, this is just, basically saying that black women, particularly darker skinned black women, don't get married as often. So basically that's just what they have to choose from, And I'm just like, well, ultimately, Oprah Winfrey and her network, they have a lot of resources. So I'm sure they could, do a little digging and find some darker skinned black women who are married. I'm sure they are out there and who would be willing to be on the show. I'm sure she can find a few. All right. Just like we see at least two unequivocally dark-skinned black men, I would like to see at least, two unequivocally dark-skinned black women, Basically, anytime you put a dark-skinned dude there, you need to put a dark-skinned woman there as well, right? Just my personal opinion, my personal take. That's just, what I feel, right? I also noticed that, I didn't see a dark-skinned couple being represented. I didn't see like, two dark-skinned people together, right? There's perhaps like a brown skin and a dark skin, and I guess that's passable for some people or whatever, but, I didn't see like two dark-skinned people, as a couple and whatnot. And, that could be something that could be added, and thought about. I'm not like super familiar with the show, to be honest, and this is this 4th season. So perhaps in past seasons they've had it and they're just doing something a little bit different. Perhaps, right? And, this show is marketed primarily toward black women, and black women are primarily brown skin and dark skin. But as I mentioned earlier in this video, ultimately don't fight battles that like, for other people that they're not going to be fighting for you, Like I said, make sure if you're going to be fighting this battle for dark-skinned couple representation, I highly, strongly suggest that you make sure that you have quite a number of dark-skinned black men making and filing this same complaint. If not, then as I mentioned earlier, just concentrate on your promotion and representation. And honestly, with that, it'll kind of, to an extent, just fall into place anyway. As long as it's, positive, corrective promotion, then ultimately everything will end up falling in place anyway. But yeah, I do see a lot of representation of lighter skinned black women in the trailer, in the program. And, that's, very interesting, but not really surprising, That is like low-key the black community's favorite couple, especially if like the black man is successful. That is very much the black community's favorite couple to push out there for some reason, right? But, that seems to be what the community wants. It'll be a lot of people jumping to defend it, like, oh, we're all black, it shouldn't matter, you like who you like, we all have preferences, you know, anything to defend it. And I'm not saying that those things aren't necessarily true, but, you know, I think that it's worth exploring pathology that goes behind, you know, these sort of choices that people make. But I've already done that already in a previous video, right? And in really in previous videos, right? But, you know, another point I want to bring up is like, you know, what's the point of the show? I'm not trying to be shady, but I guess the point, I'm thinking the point of this show is to show, like, you know, black love. Well, duh, that's the name of the show. But, you know, couples and share their story and sort of show, like, you know, the good times, the bad times, and how they overcame, perhaps, you know. You know, and again, this show is primarily marketed towards black women. So if black women feel like, hey, you know, I kind of want some different representation in the show, then I don't think that is a complaint that's not valid, you know. I will say that I was surprised, you know, pleasantly surprised to see, you know, representation of lighter skin and mixed men in the program, or at least the trailer, you know, because you know how it goes. You know, they'll just throw like a whole crew and gaggle of brown skin and dark skin black men, and then sometimes they'll mix it up with the women, and then sometimes the women will just be on the lighter side, you know. And they're like, oh, this is black love. Oh my God, yeah, black love, right? Yeah. And as well, I really think that they kind of just purposely presented the teaser trailer the way that they did in order to get folks talking. Because, you know, when you get black women talking, you get things popping, right? And black women started talking about the representation or lack of representation of darker skinned black women, you know, and that's good for like promo and good to have people, you know, talking about the show, helping, you know, promote the show, you know, full free promotion. And I think, honestly, even on YouTube, people do that. They know how to rile up black women, you know. You can make a, you know, you can make your whole platform off of like riling up black women. Right? Honestly, there's some people on YouTube who have pretty much got their platforms up and running off of the backs of black women, you know, particularly like coming at black women, you know. Heck, you know, if I wanted to get on, you know, really, you know, that's what you know, that's a path that you could go down. I don't want to get on like that, you know. And that's, well, you know, that's why I ain't been shot to the moon right now. Because, you know, I don't know, you know. It just wasn't for me, I guess. I don't know. You know, I'm just not comfortable with, you know, doing things like that. Not to say that black women are perfect and beyond criticism or anything like that, but, you know, it's just like, you know, you kind of have to be careful about what you put out there, you know. Yeah. But one more thing, you know, before I go, you notice that there was representation of a black lesbian couple, right? I'm not super familiar with the show, so I'm not sure if this is something new or something that they usually do. But, you know, how did you guys feel about that? Do you like, well, you know, whatever, you know, is black love? Or you're like, well, no, it should, you know, the show should only be dedicated towards, you know, heterosexual black love, you know? I lean more toward the side of, you know, the show being dedicated towards heterosexual black love. But considering that this is perhaps their 4th season, maybe they just want to try something new and different, and I can understand that. you know. But if, you know, the black lesbian couple, you know, is getting representation, then I'm pretty sure at one point or another, you're probably going to hear some advocacy for, oh, you know, the black male gay couple being represented. And I think that's going to be, you know, even more controversial, right? Like, oh, this is black love. I'm pretty, you know, some folks going to come through and show out about that, right? But I'll bring this video to a close. I don't want to go on for too long. So thanks for watching. You know, let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments section, you know. And until the next video, adios and goodbye for now.